All right guys, Matt Becker here. I want to talk to you real quick about wacky rig fishing. You know, throwing around a 5-inch Senko on a wacky rig, just a great technique to go around, go out whatever lake you are, wherever in the country, it'll catch you some bass. So we're gonna dive into the whole setup, equipment, how to fish it, all that good stuff. So to start, I throw it on a 7'2" favorite hex spinning rod. It's a 7'2" medium heavy. That's my favorite spinning rod. I absolutely love this thing. I spool up with 20-pound Seaguar Smackdown braid. It's a little bit heavier braid, just because you get around some of these dock posts. I want a little bit heavier braid for that abrasion resistance. And then my fluorocarbon, I even bulk up my fluorocarbon for this too. I'll start with 12-pound Seaguar Tatsu as my leader, and sometimes I'll even go up to 15-pound Tatsu fluorocarbon on my leader. Yes, with a spinning rod. I like a heavier line. It helps that bait sink faster, and then you got that stronger line. If he wraps you around some dock posts or something, you got that stronger line to wrench him out of there. We get down here to the business end of it. This is the TroKar TK 137. So it's called the Finesse Hook, and it's a really unique hook. It has this Pro V bend in it, but that locks the fish on. Once you hook them, that bend really keeps the fish from throwing the hook, and it keeps them pegged on there. So that is the number 2 size. That's my go-to for a wacky rig. And then of course, you got the 5-inch Gary Yamamoto Senko. The Senko from Yamamoto Baits is just incredible. 5-inch version, sinks really fast, wiggles the whole way down, and just straight catches fish without even putting any action into it. You can just cast it out and let it fall and pick up, and those fish are gonna be on it. All right, so now when you're fishing the wacky rig, I always like to stay upwind of my target just because it allows the boat position to stay a little better. So I'm power pulled down here. I've kind of settled down, the boat's stopped. And what you're targeting is you're targeting the shade lines on these boat docks. So I'm trying to get that bait underneath that pontoon into the shade, because those fish are gonna be using that dock for shade and for cover. So you wanna make sure you always put your bait in the shade. You wanna skip it under there, under that shade, and I like to just let it fall on a slack line. So I'm letting my braid lay on top of the water, and as it's sinking, I'm watching that braid. You know, I got the flash green Seaguar Smackdown braid here, so I'm watching that for any movement while it's sinking. Because when a fish grabs it, he'll start swimming off with it, and you'll see that line start taking off, and that's very important. But once it sinks to the bottom, I like to give it a couple pops like this, let it sink back to the bottom. But this is honestly a pretty quick technique. You know, you give it a few pops, give it a few shakes. If that fish is under there, he's gonna eat it pretty quick. And if not, you move on, make another cast. There he is. Come here, buddy. Oh yeah, there you go. Wacky rig fishing at its finest.